Okay, so this is problem 1.5.73. They ask us to solve, and I just kind of messed it up right there, but it's 4x to the fourth minus x squared minus 3. And so, if you were looking at something like this and it didn't factor, you would want to stick it into the quadratic formula. Because this is of a quadratic form. Even though it's not a quadratic, it does have a quadratic form. It's got this to the fourth power and then this squared. Quadratic form, ax squared plus bx plus c. You have a second power, first power constant, fourth power, second power constant. Okay, so this thing actually factors though, so I'm going to factor it. And I'm going to factor it with a 4x squared there and an x squared there, and then a 3 here and a 1 there. And if I make this negative and this positive, then you can see that the outside and the inside will add to be a negative 1. It works for the last, and all of our exponents work here. Okay, so then what we want to do is we want to set each of these factors equal to 0 and then solve. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to subtract 3. So we have 4x squared equal to negative 3. And then divide by 4. And x squared is negative 3/4. And then we need to take the square root of both sides. So the square root of x squared is just x. Over here we're going to have plus or minus. This is the square root of a negative 3, which is going to be I times the square root of 3. And then in the bottom, the square root of 4 is 2, so that'll come outside of the square root. Okay. Over here, if I add 1 to both sides, and I have x squared is equal to 1, and then I take the square root of both sides, I get x is equal to plus or minus 1. Okay, so there ends up being 4 solutions here, and that's because we're looking at a fourth power polynomial. And plus or minus 1 and plus or minus I times the square root of 3 over 2.